On today's video, I am going to chat to you about the stages of behaviour change and why so many of you quit before you ever get to that consistent place with food, with exercise, and with your health goals. And actually understanding the stages of change, the behaviour change that's required to get to where you want to be with nutrition and food, can be one of the things that prevents you from quitting, that allows you to see it out. Because so many people I speak to say, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Or I really struggle with this. Why does everybody else have it figured out? Why does everybody else have it easier than me? Why can other people do this and I can't? The truth is, you just haven't gone through all of the stages of behaviour change with food, or you've given up when it felt tough. And actually, quite often when things feel difficult and challenging with changes to nutrition and health, that is because progress is happening. And you'll be able to recognise this when you understand the 4 stages of behaviour change with food. So that is what we're going to delve into today. But before we do that, we have a free online quiz that will help you understand where you are going wrong with food and where you can make changes. It's called Understanding Your Eating Habits. I'm going to share the link in the description so you can fill it in and you will get some personalised feedback from us of exactly what you need to focus on to start making progress with your nutrition. So the 4 stages of behaviour change is actually a research thing and a concept that was developed over years and years by doctors and scientists, and it's the stages that go into any behaviour change, creating any habit. And I don't think many of you give yourself enough credit for how tough and challenging it can be making changes to food, making change to your health and your fitness levels. And you just think, oh, I should just be able to do it. But it's like any skill. It's like any behaviour. You wouldn't expect to just qualify in a different part of your career and be able to just sit an exam and not have to put the work in. You wouldn't expect to learn how to do a new sport without starting at the bottom and working your way up and developing that skill as you go. Improving your nutrition and your relationship with food is the same. We have to learn. We're not taught these things. We're not taught them properly. And then there's so much misinformation out there that it makes this change even tougher and even more challenging. So actually viewing the ways you approach your nutrition and the ways you feel about food as a skill will help you realise that you're gonna have to put the work in just like you would to develop any other skill in any other area of life. So stage number 1 of behaviour change is unconsciously incompetent. So this is the stage that a lot of clients come to me in, where they know that they aren't where they want to be, but they don't know where they're making the mistakes. This is the stage where you don't know what you need to do. Everything feels confusing and overwhelming. You know your health is being impacted. You know you aren't eating in ways that are going to fuel you properly and support your goals, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what you don't know, right? And this first stage is where people are not making healthy food choices, not planning or being organised with food. There's probably regular overeating, skipping meals, some disordered eating behaviours in there if people are struggling with those things, and people just aren't aware of them. A lot of people that are unconsciously incompetent with food are flying around with super high stress levels, just eating on autopilot. Gets to the end of the day, you know that you've eaten stuff because you've been getting through the day and just grabbing at food as you go, but you haven't been making conscious food choices. So the first stage, unconsciously incompetent. The second stage of behaviour change with food is consciously incompetent. Now, a lot of clients also come to us at this stage because that's saying, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. That's consciously knowing what you need to do or thinking you do, but not doing it enough or not doing it consistently enough to see the results that you want to see. This stage of behaviour change is painstakingly frustrating. A lot of the time it can feel like you are watching yourself make the exact opposite choices that you know you want to be making for your long-term health. This is the stage that you have to go through, even when you're working with us or you're working with another coach, because nobody is ever going to be perfect all of the time. And unless you push through the embarrassment, the shame, the frustration of not taking the action you know you need to take, of then having to be honest with your coach about that, then you won't ever get to where you want to be. Because if we feel that we have to cover these completely normal parts of change up, then we won't ever be able to keep pushing forward to get to the third and fourth stage. Stage 3 of behaviour change with food is consciously competent. So you know what to do and you are doing it more of the time, but you have to be conscious and aware of it. You have to be reminding yourself, or having touch points with your coach, or really thinking about things, tools and techniques. There has to be planning, structure and strategy in place for you to remember to do what you know you need to do. You've got to have visual reminders. Consciously competent, you're conscious and aware, and it's always at the forefront of your mind, and you are competent more of the time. So again, this can feel like, oh my God, this nutrition stuff, this food relationship work, changing my behaviours with food, I'm having to be aware of it constantly. It's always at the forefront of my mind. I wanted to start this journey to reduce food noise, but now I'm thinking about it more than ever. But again, this is the process. This is one of the stages of behaviour change that is eventually going to get you to the place where you are doing these things as if they're second nature. You are doing them without constantly having to think about it. They're natural, they're normal. You've formed the habits, the behaviours, the neural pathways to do these things automatically without having to use so much brain energy and so much brain capacity to think about them. Think about the stage of consciously competent as when you were learning how to drive. So when you first started and you were thinking about the gear change, how to check your mirrors, when you were putting your indicator on, how you were going to pull out from a junction and set off, you were having to overthink all of those processes to do each little step by step so that you could then set off and drive. Change with food is the same. You aren't just going to get from where you are now to where you want to be without the conscious thoughts, without the reminders, without it feeling frustrating and overwhelming, because this is how we learn any new habit, any new behaviour. This is how we rewire neural pathways. And a great way to think about behaviour change with food, is it analogy? Analogy? I don't even know the word. Analogy. I think it's analogy. Fuck me, I should check that before I hit record. But anyway, here we are. A great analogy. I use this, if it's not that word, it is now, with my clients a lot. And it's a really good way to think about changing your behaviours with food and why it can feel intense and stressful and frustrating at times. Imagine you've gone out for a walk and you've found a new woodland path that you'd never seen before. You stood at the edge of the path, and as you're looking down it, it's all overgrown with trees, with brambles, the grass is all really high. You can just kind of see the path, but you can't make it out properly. So you walk down the path, and as you are walking down the path, you're treading down the overgrown grass. You are pushing the brambles and the branches out of the way. You're clearing the path as you walk. The next day, you come back, you stand at the end of that same path. It's a little bit more trodden down than it was the day before. You go down it again. You're pushing the grass down. You're moving the brambles out of the way. The branches are clearing. Every day when you choose to stand at the edge of that path and walk down it, the path is becoming easier to tread. This is how we create neural pathways, which is the way that our brain does things automatically. It's how we create them in our brains. It's like when you were a kid and your parents had to force you to brush your teeth. Now you just do it without even thinking. It's just what you do automatically in your routine. Habits, behaviours, choices with food are the same. Your thought processes with food are the same. This is why you need to give yourself the credit for being here, for watching this video, for wanting to work on these things, because it is a learnt skill. It's hard, it's difficult. You've got to choose to stand at the end of that path and keep walking down to make these things eventually more automatic, more second nature. Stage number 4, which is the magical place to be, is unconsciously competent. So you're not having to set reminders. You're not having to tick things off. You're just doing things automatically. You're not really even having to think, oh, I have to use this nutrition tool in this situation. It's just happening automatically without you thinking about it. It's how you're showing up. It's how you're eating. It's how you're approaching food. It's who you are, because you've trodden down that path enough times. It's just what you do automatically. Like walking into the kitchen in the morning, first thing, you put the kettle on. You haven't had to think, oh, I want a cup of coffee, I'm gonna press start on the kettle. You just do it. You've put the kettle on without making that choice. This is the place that you are going to get to with food if you commit to standing at the edge of that path. But it takes that work. It takes that consistent effort. It takes doing things day in, day out, even when you aren't motivated, even when you have fucked up, even when you know what to do when you've not done it. You've still got to come back to that path and choose to walk down it for you to get to the place where whatever you are working on with food, whatever goals you want to achieve, you are just doing those behaviours, you are making those choices, you are carrying out those habits without even having to think about it. This stage is when you start feeling incredible because of the choices you're making with food. You're fueled, you're energized, you're eating well to support your health. You're enjoying food without any guilt, without regret, without spiraling into binge eating, without having to restrict and compensate. This is where the magic happens with your relationship with food, and it's just how you show up. You're taking care of your body, you're nourishing yourself, you're allowing yourself to enjoy social eating, and it's just who you are. It's what you do automatically without worrying, without stress, without having to think about it. And it really is like, take it from somebody who's been through that process and then taken hundreds and hundreds of clients over 8 years that I've been coaching now through this process. It is the most wonderful, magical place to be. And to get to this point, a huge part of that work is to accept that you won't be perfect. Sometimes life does happen. Sometimes your fitness and your nutrition isn't a priority if you've got other things going on that you need to focus on, but you're always taking into consideration what you can do. You're showing yourself compassion and understanding when you do slip up, that you are only human. And if you try and be perfect all the time, that's a direct barrier to being able to change. But then you are focusing on what is realistic, what is achievable, instead of just throwing everything out of the window when life happens. That is what it takes to get to the place where you are unconsciously competent. Oh my gosh, I got my own stages wrong. That's what it takes to get to the place where you are unconsciously competent. You've got to accept that you aren't aiming for perfection, you are just aiming for better. You are just aiming to show up in each situation and do what you can, knowing that adaptability, flexibility, and focusing on imperfect action is what is going to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people make with food is being in stage 1 or 2 and thinking that they should be in stage 3 or 4 when they haven't gone through that process, or somebody who's just started off on a health and fitness journey, or who has just started getting proper support, life-changing behaviour change support like what we offer with their nutrition. If somebody's just started that journey, they're then comparing themselves to somebody who is unconsciously competent, who's been doing this longer, practicing it longer, building up that resilience, building up this skill. Comparing yourself when you're in one of the early stages to somebody who's been doing this for years is only going to leave you more frustrated, more overwhelmed. You're going to be more likely to give up instead of thinking, how long has that person been working on this? Has their journey been easier because of X, Y, and Z? You need to focus on where you are, which stage you are in, and then really think about what it's going to take for you to move up through the stages to get to unconsciously competent, realizing that moving away from perfection, moving away from thinking this should be easy, shouldn't. It's hard to create proper behaviour change with food. But actually, to get to where you want to be, understanding the 4 stages of behaviour change with food, it's game changing, because then you do understand why it feels difficult. You do understand why at times it feels like running into a brick wall. You do understand why at times you know what to do and it's like watching yourself do the exact opposite. This is part of the stages of change. That frustration means that you've got awareness of these behaviours, and that's one of the things that is required to get you to where you want to be. Sitting with that discomfort, sitting with that frustration, that embarrassment is essential for you to be able to get to unconsciously competent. So a little activity for you to do now, it'll take 30 seconds. Ask yourself, which stage am I currently in of behaviour change when it comes to food? Which stage am I currently in, and what support do I need to be able to get to where I want to be? Also, make sure, if you haven't already, fill in the quiz, Understanding Your Eating Habits, which I've shared the link for in the description, because we will send you some personal feedback of exactly what you need to focus on to get to where you want to be. Hopefully this video has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.